Hi everyone. So I'm back with my new video. As I told you, I'm going to speak about cancer today. So basically I'm going to try and explain in very simple terms how cancer comes about. What is it that happens that gives you that lump that people feel? So first of all, let me start by explaining to you how the body is. So all our organs are formed of cells. A cell is something that looks like this. Okay? So it has a cell wall, and the red thing over here, it's our DNA. So now these cells, when they multiply over and over and over again, they form tissue that later on forms an organ, let's say the liver or the skin. So the way these cells multiply, you get, so this one cell basically divides into two, like this. And then these two divide again and give you two more, and so on and so forth. Now, this process is usually a continuous process throughout the body. Some organs, they either divide continuously, like the blood cells, on a daily basis. For other organs, it only happens when there is damage to these cells. So for instance, let's take the skin. When you get a cut, you see how after like about maybe a week or so, the wound has healed. How does that happen? So because of the injury, there are some signals that are produced that stimulate, that make these cells to divide over and over again so that it covers up the gap. Now, this process, it's a very delicate, highly controlled process. And you see, things can go wrong throughout this process. Now, what happens that gives someone cancer? You see, cancer, it's basically these same cells, or it's just that they are abnormal. Okay? So what makes them abnormal? So again, this whole process, it's a very highly regulated process by so many things that I'm not going to explain right now. It's just too complex. So I'm going to try and give you an example. Let's assume it's a factory, okay? A factory that produces soda, okay? Now, this factory, it's supposed to produce 1,000 sodas per day. That's just an estimate. Now, when these bottles of soda are produced, there's someone in charge of monitoring the quality of the product, all right? Meaning they need to check whether the drink itself is okay, the sugar level is okay, the amount is exactly the same in each and every bottle. The bottle is, the shape of the bottle is correct, and it's the same in all the bottles, and let's say the cap is okay. So basically they need to ensure that every bottle that is produced is identical to the other one. It has no abnormalities, it has nothing wrong with it. It's just perfect, just the way it's supposed to be. Okay? So this person is in charge of that process. Let's call it quality control. Okay? When they notice that there's a batch that has been produced that is abnormal, it's just not right, they get rid of all those things, all those bottles. Yeah, so a similar process happens in the cells. So when these cells are produced, there's a quality control genes, okay? We call them tumor suppressor genes. Now, these genes are responsible for monitoring how these cells are produced and that they are okay. If they notice an abnormality, then they force the cell into killing itself, literally killing itself, so that it dies off and it doesn't become cancer. So cancer happens in most cases. It happens by an abnormality of that quality control gene. It's either it's not there, or it is in itself, the gene is abnormal, so it's unable to do its work. So if something goes wrong in the cell production line, they will continue producing abnormal cells that will keep growing and multiplying over and over again until you have that abnormal mass or tumor. Now, another way this may happen is, let's go back to the factory. So you have a supervisor that tells you we are supposed to produce 1,000 sodas per day. Now, this supervisor, the machine is programmed to produce 1,000 per day so that things go well, the process is smooth and nothing goes wrong in the process. They are only able to do 1,000 a day. Suddenly, for whatever reason, the supervisor gives more signals than normal. It gives orders to produce more sodas in a day, more than 1,000, more than the capacity of the machine. And so just imagine, the machine is used to producing 1,000 per day. And then suddenly it's getting these orders that are saying we need to produce more. So obviously it will not produce good quality sodas. And they'll start producing so many, it's like it goes crazy, and the many cells that are being produced, they are abnormal, and that abnormality might even go unchecked because even the quality control person is unable to monitor the whole process. So this is not a very accurate description, but it is as close as possible to what actually happens in the cells and what makes them develop into cancer. So what is it that causes this whole thing to happen? What initiates all these abnormalities in the quality control or in the supervisors? That's what we're going to discuss on the next video. Thank you for watching. Stay safe and stay healthy.